Hello FTC Alberta. Welcome to your Spring 2020 CAD game, Climbing High. We're going to try to play this one over the course of the next few weeks and actually learn some CAD skills. If you've been with us for the last few weeks, you may have seen a few of the challenges here, and if you haven't been, welcome to the challenges. I hope you learned something from it. This is the website that has all of our FTC Alberta CAD challenges going on them right now. I will link this in the comments if you want to follow along, and you're more than welcome to follow the link down to the Discord and actually have a conversation with some of the team members that are already participating and actually go through what we're going to go through with this challenge. The actual game itself, Climbing High, is in the menu system here now, and it is a cool little game. We're going to go through how to score it, we're going to go through how to play it, but I do implore you, as we always do with any robotics game, that you read the manual. And I'll walk you through how the manual works here in just a second. This is going to go through the basic week-by-week structure. Each team is required to post something about their progress every week for 5 weeks. We're going to take this into July at this point, and it's going to allow us to actually test some of the things that would go into this game. At the end of week 5, you're going to present your robot, kind of like a robot reveal, and we're going to call this a CAD challenge. For all the teams that actually finish this, I'll make sure that they get an FTC Alberta letter that says that yes, you finished this challenge, you competed, and you put something in all 5 weeks, and this is part of your team process now, so make sure those get into your engineering notebooks. At the bottom of this main page, I've put a link to a really good Autodesk course. This is actually some of the theory that you really could benefit from if you were to go through the full series of the course. I do recommend going to around lesson number 5. That'll go through promoting the robot, which includes rendering and actually putting the thing together so it can be presented well. The rest of them are things about like connecting with your team, actually putting things together between multiple team members in a cloud-based environment like Fusion 360. There's also some 3D modeling tools, how to bring in libraries, things like that. Stuff that we have covered with the people who've been doing it so far, but if you're brand new to this, it's a really good place to start. The full game manual and resources can be found here. When you click on this button, you're going to be taken to a Google Drive folder. In it, you are actually given the fuel from 2017's FRC game Steamworks, which is our primary game piece. You're also given the game manual and the field drawing. I'm going to show you a quick view of the field here. This is our game field for Climbing High, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour. This is the field here, and in each side we've got a red and a blue lines, and each side we've got these taped off boxes. These are what we're going to refer to as starting blocks for the remainder of this. They're actually the starting point for your robot in this game. We've got wiffle balls here. There are a total of 10 balls on the field on any given game. You can see a configuration where we've got 3 starting on each side, 2 neutral yellow balls on each side, and 1 Alliance colored game ball. Now you're only allowed to play with the Alliance colored game ball that is your color and the neutral ones. In addition, each robot on the field is going to start the match with 1 game ball loaded on the robot. So that makes a total of 10 balls. 3 of them will be specific to your color and 4 of them will be neutral. In the center of the field, we actually have 3 things that we need to talk about. Each team actually has what's called a podium. This is kind of the podium idea. We have our bronze level of our podium, our lowest level. We have our silver level of our podium, and we have the gold level of the podium. And of course, Climbing High, the name implies, we will be trying to climb to the top level of this in endgame. We also have our goal tower in the middle. This is where our main scoring target is, and for most of our game, you're going to be shooting the game balls at one of these targets. The smaller circle that's slightly higher up on each side is the 3-point goal, which is going to, unsurprisingly, be worth 3 points. On the outside, we have a 1-point goal. It is larger, it is lower, it's much easier to hit. All of these actually bounce around, and I'm going to zoom around here to actually show. As long as I can get this to work properly with my view cube. There we go. We actually have a redistributor here so that the balls, once they're fired in, are going to fall back into the arena in a relatively random way. There is some space underneath there that you can drive, and that is going to be predominantly what you're going to be dealing with for the field for this game. That's super disconcerting. Now, if you go into the actual game manual itself, you are going to find that there are 2 documents. There's the game manual and the field drawings. Field drawings are really good if you want to find the exact specifications of things. Now, all of the measurements here are going to be in inches. I didn't convert these to metric, but if anybody really feels that they direly need the metric versions of them, you can convert them, or you can send me a message and I'll convert them in another document. We have our main field here. We also have our podium levels, and we have our 3-point, and 1-point goals written down here, as well as a definition as to where the game balls start at the start of the field. If any of you remember Rover Ruckus, it had a randomization challenge in Autonomous where there were 3 items and you had to identify one of them versus the other 2. This is much the same. One of these 3 balls is going to be a different color. It's going to be your team's color, and your robot in Autonomous should be able to identify that. Now, obviously, in a CAD challenge, probably not something you're actually going to program in, but if we ever actually play this game, that might be something you use. Now, when we go to the actual manual itself, there's a few things that we need to know, a few things that we need to walk through. I'm just going to pop back to it, and let's walk through how this is played. Okay. If you float through here, I just want to say some thanks to the members of ATA 7277, as well as some of the mentors that came in and actually helped give some, Nick and whatnot, to help give some actual feedback to this. Now, when you go through this manual, how you should read this is, if you find anything that is highlighted in light blue, that is something that is specific to this game. You're going to find large sections of this particular game, as we see here with the 1 and 3-point goal, that are specific to this game. Likewise, you're going to find pieces like the definition of an alliance that's standard for FTC. It doesn't change year to year. Those things we haven't highlighted. So when you flip through here, it's probably a good idea to flip through and find all the stuff that's in blue that's really going to make things easy for you to go through here, because large pieces of this are pretty standard FTC rules. So let's talk a little bit about specific rules to this game, and that starts with scoring. There are 3 points to the game, 3 parts. We have our Autonomous, we have our Driver Controlled, and we have our Endgame. And in Autonomous, you're going to notice that the points are somewhat simple. Your robot could be designed to, or it has to be designed to start in the starting blocks, in those corner boxes. It is then going to be able to try to pick up game balls and to potentially launch those game balls at the targets. Scoring in the low goal during Autonomous is worth double points, 2 points in this case. If it's shooting through the high goal, and I realize there's actually a typo in this that will be changed by the time you see this, low goal is going to refer to 1-point goal, and high goal is going to refer to 3-point goal. We're going to remove that terminology. The 1-point goal is going to be worth 2 points in Autonomous and 1 point during Driver Control, whereas the 3-point goal is going to be worth 6 points in Autonomous and 3 points during Driver Control, double during Autonomous. In addition, if your robot can pass one of those game balls, and it doesn't matter what color, neutral, alliance color, to a teammate, that can be rolling it across the floor, it can be launching it to the other robot, it is worth 10 points to your alliance. Likewise, if you're able to dislodge your Alliance Colors game ball from the 3 that are laid out at the start of the match, you will earn 5 points. Now that's really easy, because you can just make Autonomous to plow through all 3 of them, but there's a bonus. If you can pick off the 1 differently colored ball without moving the 2 neutral game balls, you receive 20 points. And finally, during Autonomous, if your robot is able to park on that bronze podium, it is worth 5 points per robot. During Driver Control, we have one of the easiest scoring setups ever. If you score in the 1-point goal, you're going to get 1 point. If you score in the 3-point goal, you're going to get 3 points. But there are a couple rules around that. Specifically, when we go back to our field, there's another piece of this field we need to talk about. That is the crease. The crease is the piece right in front of the 1-point goal. And the crease right here is actually a somewhat protected area. You are not allowed to be in your opponent's crease for more than 3 seconds at a time. Likewise, if you score and you're in the crease or you're on the podium, you get 2 shots. Once you've fired or launched 2 game balls from the crease or the podium, you are then required to leave the crease or the podium before you take another shot at the goal. This is to prevent teams from creating infinite cycles of shooting. Likewise, since you're allowed to spend 3 seconds inside the crease, you are also allowed to play limited defense in this game, which means that if a team is removing themselves from the crease and you think you can get in their way for that 3 seconds and then get out, you're more than welcome to. You'll notice that you can go underneath this, underneath the goal tower, and that's part of the game as well. If a ball goes flying to the other side and you need to go retrieve it, that is one pathway to go through there. Remember, you only have 3 seconds in the crease. After we've gone through that piece of scoring, there we go, we have we continue to have those points in endgame, but we add on one more kind of scoring in endgame, and that is getting onto the podium. Now, In the final 30 seconds, your robot is allowed to ascend those podiums. Your opponent cannot block you from getting to those podiums, and it is worth 5 points if you can get to the bottom bronze level. Now, obviously, the bronze level is relatively easy to hit. It's just a simple 1 inch bump up. Most robots should be able to do that easily. If your robot can become fully supported by the top of the silver podium, it's worth 15 points. Also, if you can get your robot onto the top of the podium, it is worth 25 points. Now, when I say top, what I mean is that a robot counts for those points if it is fully supported by that level. That means, that no other part of the robot is touching the sides of that level. No other part of the robot is touching a lower level. If you have a robot that is sitting on the silver level and the gold level, it will get silver level points. Now, you also want to note that in the game rules, it defines each robot being at this level. In 2019, in First Deep Space, there was a very similar challenge for FRC, and the rules stay the same here. If you can make it so that you and another robot are both fully supported by the top of this podium, you actually will earn 25 points for each robot on top of there. So good luck with designing for some buddy climbs. That's what we called them in 2019. They were very cool. That's the game Climbing High. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have some questions about it. And when you do, please make sure that those get into the Discord forum. You do need a team captain who's going to be the person responsible for submitting your weekly updates as to how your team's doing to try to help everyone out. And I hope that we get a bunch of teams that get to week 5, finish this project, and actually show us some really cool FTC robots. Signing off. Have fun, guys.